Today we are going to continue chapter number 15, economic development, lecture number 15. Friends, in this chapter up to now we discussed about economic development, the meaning of economic development. We also understood about how this economic development is important for any country. Only the development in economy is not necessary, but the overall development for any country is necessary. Development should be there in the society as well. That is considered as social development, and that is also very much necessary for any country to be economic developed. Friends, we also discussed about the three important indicators to measure this economic development. First was the national income of the country, second was the per capita income of the country, and the third was standard of living. We discussed about what is economic growth and what is economic development. We also discussed about the difference between economic growth and economic development, and we clearly understood that each and every country aims at economic development, not economic growth, because economic growth is temporary while economic development is permanent. If we talk about economic development, it is a high goal, we can say. Friends, each and every country aims at this qualitative development, and qualitative development, that is considered as economic development. And we also discussed about many major things in our previous lectures. We discussed about the features of developing economy, which are the important features which can be clearly seen in the developing countries, that is the less per capita income, population growth. Then we also discussed about unemployment. We discussed about poverty as an important feature of this developing economy. Most of the 1/3 of the population is in the state of poverty in this developing economy. When we talk about unemployment, we discussed about how this unemployment ratio is higher. More than 3% people are unemployed in the developing countries. We discussed about unequal distribution of income, in which we clearly discussed how the 20% of the rich families they share the 40% of our national income, while on the other side 20% of the poorest family they share only 10% of our national income. So friends, this is the clearly unequal distribution of income. We also discussed about the dependence on agriculture, improper infrastructure. We also discussed about the international form of international trade. These were some of the important features of developing economy. After that, we also discussed about the economic and non-economic activity, in which we understood that any activity done to gain money, economic benefit, then it is considered as economic activity. And the non-economic activity is just opposite to it. Any activity that is done just for the sake of social service or for charitable, and in which there is no economic gain or benefit, then it is considered as non-economic activity. Friends, we also discussed about the private sector. We also discussed about the primary sector, secondary sector, and the service sector. After that, we discussed about the important factors of production. In these factors of production, in this economic development part, that is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. We learned how land plays an important role as a natural resource. Same way, capital is a man-made resource, considered all the man-made resources that are used for the sake of production, that are considered as capital. And labor, any person doing any kind of physical or mental work is considered as a labor, which is very important factor of production as well. And last is the entrepreneur, that is the person who combines all these three, land, capital, and labor, that is known as entrepreneurship, and the activity done by him is known as entrepreneurship. So friends, we discussed this all were important as the factor of production. After that, we also discussed about the market system, in which we clearly understood about how this market system plays a very important role, and many developed countries like America and Britain developed by this market system. Market system is totally where individual freedom is clearly seen. Here the person, the citizens and the businessmen are free to take any decision related to the production and the pricing as well. Here competition plays a very role, profit is at the center, and that is why people invest most in that kind of industries in which they get maximum profit. And so here capital plays a major role, and that is why this system is also known as capitalist system. We also discussed about the benefits and limitations of this market system. After that, in previous lectures we discussed about the socialist system, which is totally opposite to it. Here all the resources of production are owned by the government, by the state. Here social welfare is at the center, not the profit. Here the government looks at the needs of the society and does the production as per the requirement, and that is why here the wastage of resources in production is not seen. Here obviously we clearly understood that all the economic decisions are taken by the state government. So friend, here we clearly understood about the socialist system. In the previous lecture we also discussed about the benefits and limitations of this socialist system. Today the topic we are going to cover, that is the third system, that is the mixed economy. Let us cover the third topic, that is mixed economy. The third market system, that is the mixed economic system. Here, if you understand this, here it is said the economic system in which both the government, if we talk about this economic system, here both the government and the private individuals are exercising economic control. They are exercising economic control. This is called mixed economy. Friends, what is mixed economy? Then here the clear definition is there. The economic system in which both the government and the private individual are exercising economic control. They are both of them, the government and the individual, both are sharing to take any kind of decision related to economy. The economic control is in the hand of the individual as well as the government, and that is why it is known as mixed economy. Mixed means the mixture of government as well as the individual. Friends, in the market system we discussed that all the economic control was in the hand of the individual or the citizens. In the socialist system we discussed that all the power of economic decisions and controls were in the hand of the government. But now this mixed economy is the mixture of both the things. Here in this type of economy, in this system, all the economic controls and the economic decisions are in the hand of individual as well as the government. So both of them exercise economic control in this system. Here it is said that mixed economy, if we talk about this mixed economy, here it is said is a middle way of market system. Here it is said mixed economy is the middle way of market system and socialist system. Here when we talk about mixed economy, it is the middle way of market system and socialist system. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि बीच का रास्ता निकाला, जैसे मार्केट सिस्टम में थोड़ी लिमिटेशंस थी सोशलिस्ट सिस्टम में थोड़ी लिमिटेशंस थी और ये लिमिटेशंस को पूरी करने के लिए यहाँ इन लोगों ने मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी इंट्रोड्यूस किया। मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी बीच का रास्ता है, सोशलिस्ट और मार्केट सिस्टम के बीच का रास्ता। मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी इज द मिडल वे ऑफ मार्केट सिस्टम एंड सोशलिस्ट सिस्टम। इट मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी attempts at removing mixed economy, they make attempts at removing the limitations of market system and socialist system. Here mixed economy is making attempt for removing all the limitations of market system and socialist system, and at the same time it tries to adopt good elements of these both systems. Friends, clearly understand what this point wants to say. Here it is saying mixed economy is making attempts at removing the limitations of market system and socialist system, and at the same time it is also trying to adopt the benefits, the positive things, the positive elements of both the system in this. Means in market system, the limitations they are trying to cover, the limitations of market system and socialist system, and they are trying to adopt the benefits, the positive things of both these systems, the positive elements of both the system, market system and socialist system are trying to be covered in this mixed economy. Then friends, here it is said, in mixed economy, private and public sector both coexist. Here, the coexistence of private sector as well as public sectors, both are clearly seen. Friends, you might be aware about the public sector and the private sector. Public sector, that is for the sake of the public, but that is owned by the government, that is known as public sector. While the private sector, that is owned by the individual, by the private person. So here, mixed economy, in the mixed economy, we can see both the existence of private sector as well as the public sector as well. So friends, here we can clearly see that in mixed economy, private and public sector both coexist. Friends, here it is said that both private and public sector here works as, here when we are talking about the private and public sector, they both works as complementary to each other rather than the competitor. Here, rather than the competitor, they work, rather than the competitor, they work as complementary to each other. Both support each other. Here, in this type of system, the private sector and the public sector, they were complementary to each other. They do not work as the competitor of each other. They both support each other and work in this sector. Here it is said that private ownerships exist in sectors like agriculture. Private ownership exists in the sectors like agriculture, trade, small consumer goods. If we talk about the ownership, here trade, small consumer goods, industries, etc. Small consumer goods, industries, etc. So friends, here if we talk in mixed economy, the private ownership that exists, private ownership is seen in the sectors like agriculture, trade, small consumer goods, industries. These all type of ownership are seen in private sectors in this mixed economy. Whereas the basic key industries, that is railways, whereas the basic key industries, that is railway, electricity, roads, railways, electricity, roads, irrigation, etc. are owned by the government. Here we can clearly see, friends, that private ownership is seen in the sector of agriculture, trade, small consumer goods industries, etc. While if we talk about the public sector or that is owned by the government, the basic industry like railways, electricity, roads, irrigation, these all things are owned by the government. So here you can clearly see the coexistence of private and the public sectors clearly. Here if we talk about this economy, here it is said that in this system, the market is not completely free. Here the market is not completely free. Government puts certain controls. Here in this system, market is not completely free. Government interferes in this. Government puts certain controls. For example, state puts certain tax. Here it is said state puts certain heavy tax, certain heavy tax on the production of unwanted and luxurious items. Friends, here this system is not completely free. Government interferes in this. Government puts certain control in this system. For example, state puts certain heavy tax on the production of this unwanted and luxurious item, due to which there is restriction in the production of unwanted and luxurious items, so that the resources are not wasted due to this. Here some restrictions are clearly seen by the government in this system. Friends, here it is said, similarly to regional development government similarly to attain balanced regional development government gives certain concessions to private, they give certain concessions to private owners to establish heavy industries. Also government gives certain concession to establish industries in backward areas, we can say. In backward areas, government gives certain concessions to develop these things in backward area. These concessions can be in the form of, these concessions can be in the form of subsidies, reduction in taxes. These concessions can be in any form like subsidies, reduction in taxes, then they can give cheap land, etc. Friends, here you can clearly understand that since government attempts to maintain this balanced regional development, government puts certain restrictions on the luxurious item as well as to make the balance between this regional development. Government also gives certain concessions to the private owners to establish industries in the backward area, and these concessions can be in the form of subsidies, in the form of reduction in the tax. They can also provide them cheap land in cheap rate. So these all things are helped by the government so that the balance can be maintained in the regional development. Here it is said that thus, if we talk about mixed economy, thus mixed economy is such an economic system in which economic planning, if we talk about the mixed economy, it is an economic system in which economic planning is given in which economic planning is given in a very important position to take economic decisions. Friends, here it is said, thus in mixed economy, it is such an economic system in which economic planning is done. Economic planning is done by the government. Economic planning is given a very important position to take economic decision. Any kind of economic decision is taken by doing economic planning in this mixed economy. Without planning, any economic decision is not taken. And that is why here it is said that since mixed economic system puts certain control, since mixed economic system puts certain controls and restrictions as mixed economic system puts certain controls and restriction. It is also called controlled economic system. It is also known as controlled economic system. Friends, as certain controls and restrictions are given by the government in this system, that is why this system is considered as controlled economic system. As we learned in the market system, it was totally free economy. Over there, the individual was free to take any decision. Here, totally control is seen, and that is why this system is also known as controlled economic system. Countries like, if we talk about the countries, here it is said India, England and France. Countries like India, England and France followed this mixed economic system. Friends, countries like India, England, France, they all followed this mixed economy. They really follow this mixed economy. So friends, here if we talk about India, you can clearly see some of the areas like the railways are owned by the government, right? Many, like the maintenance of road is in the hand of the government. These all are in the hand of the government. They are used for public, so that is in public sector. While there are some also sectors like agriculture, as we saw in our previous point, that are owned by the private. So here in India we can clearly experience this mixed economic system. So friends, you might have understood about the mixed economic system. Thank you.